Hi guys, so about a year ago I made a video called How to Invest £1,000 and that video's had more than 100,000 views and growing. Which made me think, do you know what, it'd be good to come back and reflect on what those ideas were, but today raise the stakes a little bit and do this video today on how to invest £500. Now £500 to a lot of people is quite a small amount of money, but to a lot of other people it's quite a lot of money at the same time. So I'm hoping that this sort of video will be appealing to you in that a lot of people can relate to £500. A lot of people can see that as something that they might be able to invest themselves. In today's video though, I want to explore this idea of investing £500 but with the potential, the returns to be 10 times that money or even 100 times that money, okay? So these ideas are ideas that I would put money in myself, okay? So I'm going to keep them as diverse as possible, as interesting as possible, and then I'm going to speak to you about them in the way that I would go about investing my £500. I'll speak to you on this video specifically how I would split that money across the 5 investments I'm going to speak to you about today. If you're really enjoying this video, hey, hit the subscribe button, support us here at The Humble Penny and show some love. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, because that just helps this video to be promoted to other people so that it can reach them and help them as well. All right, let's dive straight in and explore these five ideas for how to invest £500. The first thing I would do if I had £500 to invest is I would invest in a niche US-focused blog, okay? Now, let me explain what I mean here, because you're thinking, what, really? Okay, so a friend of ours, a really close friend of ours, in fact, this person actually did a masterclass within Financial Joy Academy, has done something that's been mind-blowing. It's been so good that it's even allowed her to quit her job and focus on this stuff full-time because it started to pay her way more money than her day job did. And here's what she did. She created a blog in London, but serving an audience in America. Now, we all know, if you're in the UK, America is at least something like 5 times the population of the UK. So a much bigger audience. So if I had £500, what I would do, and I am doing this, by the way, I'll talk to you about it in a minute, I would invest in starting a niche blog. I'd pick a very specific niche after doing a lot of research. Could be one in finance, because I already have expertise in this area, or it could be focused on food. There are various niches that pay really, really well. And here's what I would do with my £500 specifically, okay? First thing, I'd spend £100 on 12 months of hosting, okay? I'd buy domain hosting. We offer them at Humble Penny if you're interested yourself. I'll put links below and above for you to check out. But I'd buy domain hosting for £100. Then I'd spend £250 on a website designer. The reason why this idea works beautifully is if you get branding right, okay? If you get a really beautiful website, on Upwork or somewhere like that, you can get somebody maybe in Europe or even beyond that in Asia, somewhere like that. £250 goes very far towards building a simple 5-page blog, okay? The next £150 to make up my £500 in total, I would spend on marketing software. So something like, a MailChimp could be free to start, but something like a ConvertKit, which is what we use at the moment, is something I would spend that money on. And the reason why I mentioned this idea of a niche blog is that we know so many other people who have done so well from this idea. And my friend I mentioned is only one of them. She, at the moment, every month without fail, makes between £10,000 a month and £20,000 a month from her site alone. I'm working about 2 days a week on it. And I should mention, this is over a 3-year period. And in the first year of doing this, she was making almost money that was rivaling her day job. I mention this because so many people start blogs but don't make any money from it at all. But if you are somebody who is pretty strategic, you've done your research, you've found your niche, you've really done the work and followed what works, this can really work for you. Now, in terms of an ROI, return on investment, this idea, in my mind, could return for you up to 10 times your money. So that's going from £500 to £5,000 in 1 to 2 years. It could even go as far as 20 times your money. So I'm heading up to about £10,000 of your money in between 1 and 2 years. But again, there needs to be focus. You need to know what you're doing. You need to focus in the right niche. But because you're targeting a much bigger market and making your money in US dollars, you can find that income coming in a lot more than you expect, particularly if you focus on the right revenue model for your niche blog. Now, guys, I should mention as well, this idea of starting a niche focused blog in the US is not something that I just think is a great idea or something I think other people are doing. I'm just going to be upfront. We are actually exploring this idea ourselves. I've bought the domain name, I've had somebody build a website, I've applied to the intellectual property office for our trademark, all of it's been approved and it's ready to go. It's a bit of a secret project. We're just kind of doing it kind of on the down low just to explore this idea ourselves. In fact, I've been thinking to myself if it might be something that might fit into a series here at the Humble Penny, kind of sharing with you guys kind of the journey on creating this website and exploring the US market from the UK. If this is something that might interest you, if you think we should do it, we might think about it. Let us know in the chat. It'd be really, really interesting. But I'm so excited about this idea because I've seen other people do it. I've seen them really, in fact, some people have like 4 or 5 different niche sites, making them X thousand pounds per month from running those individual niche sites, and they're all automated. In fact, a lot of them are even run anonymously. Our friend who I mentioned earlier runs her site entirely anonymously. So, this is not something that you should worry about, affecting your day job or whatever. If it's something you're really interested in, why not? Explore it. I'll put some resources below and above as well if you're looking for like a step-by-step guide on how to actually get started with this idea. Okay, so the second thing I would do with £500 is if I had somebody who I really admired from a business perspective and I really wanted to get to know them because that relationship meant so much to me, what I would do with £500 is I would invest in either their online course or their membership program if they've got one. Now, I'll tell you why I'd do it. There are 3 reasons why I would do this. The first is, obviously, I'm investing in something that I want to learn from. So it has to be some form of program that I could learn something from. So number 1 is I'm actually learning something. It's an investment in my personal learning to improve myself. But the second reason, this is very important, and many people don't think about this, is about proximity. So if you really want to get to know somebody, a good way of getting to know them is to put money in their pockets. Literally buy their program or do whatever. Show some investment. And what this does is to get you a lot closer to that person and getting to know them much more on a personal level. The third reason, and this is another one that many people don't think about, is about networking. You get to actually get into their network. You get to actually see who they see. You get into their zone. You get to actually engage in their private community. That's what I would do £500. It'd be a worthwhile investment. There's so many membership programs. Go and do your own research and find somebody who you actually admire and go and invest in their lives and actually show up and get to know them. But by doing that, you actually learn, you build a really credible relationship, and you get exposure to their world as well. Now, in terms of an ROI, this really depends on what you are trying to achieve, okay? This could be, the return on investment here could be a lifelong relationship, a lifelong friendship, or being part of an environment that really pushes you outside of your comfort zone. So this is one that you'd struggle to put a monetary return on. But I can guarantee you, and I do this myself, I'm very open here on this channel. I'll tell you guys straight up. I've got membership environments that I've joined specifically for proximity, just so that I can get closer to the person who's running it, because I could see a possible joint venture, I could see us possibly collaborating in one way, shape or another, and so on. So I'm just sharing these ideas for how I would invest my money. And I'm hoping there's someone out there watching this is thinking to themselves, do you know what? He's making a lot of sense. And £500, to be honest, depending on who you are, is quite a small investment for what you could potentially get from the right person and the right relationship. The third thing I would do with £500 is I would start a service-based online business on YouTube. Yeah. Now, let me tell you why I would do that. Okay, so when I talk about a service-based online business, I'm talking about an online business that you offer as a service on the internet. So this could be that you are a bookkeeper, for example, or a graphic designer, for example, or a social media manager, or whatever. Okay, you're offering a service, but you're using the medium of the internet to offer that service. Now, why did I even mention YouTube? What's that got to do with that? I'll tell you why in a second. To be able to create that business, this is what I would do, given my experience and knowledge so far of doing all this stuff that we do online. First thing I would do is I would do keyword research. I'd focus on find specific people who call them competitors or whatever, people who are doing what I would love to do online. I do research on them and do keyword research on what type of content they're creating. My goal here is to focus on the 80% of the content that brings them 20% of their traffic. So I'm not wasting my time. I'm very strategic, okay? First thing. Second thing I'd do is I'd gain complete clarity on my avatar. By that I mean, who exactly am I looking to serve with this service-based online business and why? The more clarity you have on that person, the more you stop wasting your time speaking to everybody and you just speak to that person alone. In fact, this will save you so much of kind of tireless effort on doing stuff and creating stuff that goes nowhere if you know who you are speaking to. That's step 2. Step 3, and this is where YouTube comes into the picture. And I choose YouTube for a reason, and I'll tell you why. I will focus on spending money on marketing via YouTube. So YouTube will form a part of what's known as your marketing plan. Okay, a marketing plan, for those who are running a business effectively, is what you need essentially to bring leads into your world, and those leads can potentially then become customers down the line. And the way I will spend £500 specifically is this, okay? I'd spend £200 on branding. Branding is everything. Because I've only got 500, I spend 200 of it on branding. Next, I spend £200 on a website, a simple 3 to 5 pager website to support my service-based business. Why? Because that helps with trust. People love to see websites, okay? But it'll be a very special type of website with a special, almost instructions for how to guide the leads that come into my website to eventually become customers. Essentially a process, a sales process. The third thing I'd spend my money on is £50 on lighting. Lighting's everything. Just as I'm making this video, I've got 2 lights here. I've got 2 other bulbs above me because I want my videos to be good quality, okay? I'd spend £50 on lighting. You can buy these on Amazon. Again, I'll put links to the ones we use below for you to check out. Then I'll spend my remaining £50 to make £500 on a memory card. I'd buy a simple memory card and then do the filming on my phone because I'm doing all this stuff on a budget. That's my total £500. Now, why am I using YouTube? I'm going to tell you why. The reason why YouTube works is because YouTube markets your content for you. Simple. I make this video, I post it, I'm like, hey, bye, I've done it now. YouTube gets to work, provided I've put the right ingredients in the first place. Quality, consistency, authenticity, and so on. Next reason YouTube's really powerful is because it helps you build trust very quickly, okay? You would not trust me if you couldn't see me, if you couldn't hear me, if you couldn't make judgment. People are always judging each other online or in person. You're able to judge somebody a lot quicker because you can see them, which is why the YouTube platform is great because you build trust, likability and trust a lot quicker. And with likability and trust comes the potential that you might have people who are interested in your service-based business, in what you do, no matter what you're doing. And you can basically say to them, if you're interested, again, check out the links below, hit me up, check out my website, and so on. And what you find with this type of business, and I've thought about this from an ROI perspective, I see a service-based business built on the YouTube platform as a marketing channel, easily generating anything between 10 times your money, all the way up to 100 times your money in around 2 years' time, if you know what you're doing. Because the beauty of a service-based business is that you already have the skill set. It's a prerequisite. And all you're now doing is looking for the traffic. You're looking for the customers. And YouTube is a perfect environment to make that happen. Number 4 is, and this is Mary's idea. I've got to give my wife the credit. She brought this idea up. I asked her, what would you spend £500 on? She said something else, but I thought, not sure. Then she said this. She said she would spend it on a strategy weekend away. Woo! I thought, wow, that's the one. People have got to hear this, right? And I thought this is a fantastic idea. So Mary said she'd spend it in a new environment all by herself so that she could focus on really just reflecting on what she wants to achieve. And I think this is so powerful. And I would do exactly the same thing. The idea here, this idea is very unique and ideal for somebody who already has something going. So if you already have a side hustle or a business, or you maybe want to work on your career, but you want a weekend away to really reflect. And I've talked about this many times on this channel, from this idea of changing your routine and changing your environment does a lot for your creativity. Change your environment, have a weekend away with your £500 and use that with specific plans for your 3 days. Day 1, I'm going to do this. Day 2, I'm going to do this. Day 3, I'm going to do this. And focus on what you're going to achieve. Now, from an action point perspective, I'd say to you, use it for your 90-day planning. We run our lives on a 90-day cycle, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and it does amazing things for achieving goals. So if you're someone who's pondering, what can I do with £500? Well, Mary's idea is a brilliant one. You can go away for a weekend, call it 3 nights, and go away and focus and say to yourself, how can I turn my side hustle that currently makes £1,000 or £500? How can I turn that into £5,000? Or even £20,000. How can I do that multiple times my money? Okay? And you find that if you focus on a specific area of something you're working on, such as monetization, you find that over a period of 3 days, because you've got a defined period in a new environment, you're more likely to come up with the ideas, to make the relevant phone calls, to brainstorm and things like that without all the distractions. And you're more likely to get yourself a much bigger return out of your money by spending it and making that investment in yourself and in your business or side hustle. In terms of return on investment, it really depends. This could make the difference between you being someone who's been sitting on their hands for so long on an idea and becoming someone who actually takes that idea and it really takes off. They actually stop sitting on their hands about it, but they actually go off and begin that idea. Taking that weekend away and investing that £500 could make that much of a difference. Or if you started something already, you could make the difference between, you being somebody, who's making, kind of call it, money here and there, to becoming someone who creates, a revenue model, or become somebody who creates an idea or explores an idea for scaling your business potentially. If I was to invest £500, is this one that I might explore myself? In fact, I'd love to know in the comments, would you explore going away for a weekend, a strategy weekend, to focus on either yourself or your career, or to focus on your side hustle or business? Let me know in the chat. It'd be really interesting to know how many people might consider this as a worthwhile way to invest £500. Okay, so this is my final idea number 5, and I couldn't have this video without actually putting this in. This is an investing video. This idea is I would invest my money, £500, in a globally focused index fund or ETF. Okay, so good examples are, the FTSE Developed World ex-UK Equity Index Fund, say at Vanguard, which is a globally focused fund with a lot of the allocation of this fund to the US equities market. Naturally, it tries to essentially mimic what the global allocation is, excluding the UK. That's what the ex-UK piece means. Alternatively, it could be you focusing on, S&P 500 index, for example. So many providers, provide these. In fact, we'll put some videos below and above for you to go and check out some of the videos we've made on how you can go about investing in things such as index funds and ETFs. But with this sort of idea, if you're making a return of about 7%, on average per year, it will take you about 10 years to double your money. So this is not going to make you, a lot of money over time, but it's much more likely to make you some money if you're somebody who's not really interested in putting a lot of effort into something. These 5 ideas I've shared today are really about risks and rewards, okay? If you're somebody who's willing to put the time, the effort, and to take a bit of risks, with calculated risks I'm referring to here, not just random risks, you're somebody who's more likely to generate a much higher return by trying some of the ideas that we've mentioned on today's video. Investing in things such as index funds and ETFs are great and will most likely give you a guaranteed return over time, particularly if you put your money into a globally diversified fund. But it's not going to make you rich overnight, but just worth mentioning that point. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video on these 5 ideas for how to invest £500. Again, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What would you invest £500 in? Let me know in the chat. I'm so excited about what thoughts you might come up with. Please do not forget to hit the like, hit the share, and hit that subscribe button to support us here at The Humble Pen. And if you think anyone else might enjoy this video, hey, hit the share and get the video out to other people who you might think this might add some value to. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. And as ever, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care, guys, and bye for now.